What's up guys, it's Seth. Today I'm going to show you all the Easter eggs in the two new jungle sceneries that we got with the spring update. So we got the jungle scenery for free when you upgrade to Town Hall 14, and then we have the epic jungle scenery which you have to buy in the shop. And to be honest, these don't really have that many Easter eggs, which I'm kind of disappointed by. It seems that every scenery that Clash of Clans releases has less and less Easter eggs in them, which is kind of disappointing. I really enjoyed making the Clashy constructs and the pirate scenery videos because those had tons of Easter eggs, but these new sceneries don't really have that many Easter eggs. So I really hope in the future Clash of Clans will put more Easter eggs in the sceneries and just take a little bit more time to fill in some of the empty space and just add more Easter eggs, because I don't know if I want to continue this series if there's not really going to be any Easter eggs. But let's start off with the jungle scenery that you'll get for free when you upgrade to Town Hall 14. There were only a couple things I noticed in this scenery, and the main Easter eggs were in the bottom right in the jungle. There's a giant stone goblin head, and you'll see these later in the epic jungle scenery, but this one is in the grass, its ear is broken off, and it has a big crack in the top of it. And then the second one is in the top left on the very edge of the screen, and this one you can see a little bit more of its face, but it's also laying in the jungle. It looks as if it's been laying there for a long time, old and broken. So that's pretty interesting. But then in the top right, this isn't much of an Easter egg, but it's kind of hard to notice if you're not looking for it. And you'll see right by the river, there's a canoe that's up on the bank, which looks like someone put their canoe there and then walked down this dark trail with some lanterns at the entrance. But this canoe also has some fruit in it, and you'll see that again in the epic jungle scenery. So like I said, just a couple Easter eggs in this scenery, but now let's move on to the epic jungle scenery. And if you haven't seen the entire series that I made for all the Easter eggs in every single scenery, I'll have that linked in the description, and you can go watch all those videos to see all the Easter eggs you may have missed. So in the developer update, they said the epic jungle scenery and Town Hall 14 in general, the style of it was all inspired by indigenous Mesoamerican architecture. So if we look at the new loading screen really quick, you actually see kind of a ground view of what this epic jungle scenery looks like, and you can see Town Hall 14 and a bunch of buildings on top of it. And this structure is a perfect example of indigenous Mesoamerican architecture because they build these big kind of pyramids with these really tall flights of steps going up to them, which are really cool. I'll throw a couple real life examples of them on the screen, but this is a view of the scenery from the bottom, so you can kind of get an idea of what you're looking at as we look at these Easter eggs from the scenery. So starting off in the bottom left, you'll see a couple canoes that look like that canoe we saw in the jungle scenery, and they have some fruit in them. It looks like apples and some other green fruit, but then we have the famous banana, which shows up in every single scenery right there next to the apples. But as we move over to the right, you'll see kind of like a marketplace, and there's a lot of different tents and things, and I did some research, and you'll see the majority of products that they have over here, and this was huge in the Mesoamerican culture. They would make a lot of pottery, so there's a bunch of pottery, and there's also some fruit. And you'll see the orange fruit down here. It kind of looks like oranges, but the shape of some of them actually resemble a squash. A squash is also what the Mesoamerican people would grow. So I think that's squash right there. But some of these things aren't necessarily Easter eggs because there's not actually that many Easter eggs, but I'll just point out a few interesting things. Another interesting thing that you probably would be confused about if I didn't show you the loading screen earlier is this huge flight of stairs on the right. It kind of looks like it goes down into nothing, but because we saw on the loading screen the ground view of this building, you know that it goes down, and then I think it makes a left turn and goes down another flight of stairs. And on this flight of stairs, there's also a faint image of what looks like a barbarian. I didn't notice this at first, but you can see that it's a bit darker gray than the steps, and you can see his eyebrows, his eyes, and his mustache. But right above the stairs is a sun symbol with a skull on it. And if you go and look in the top left, down below this big structure, there's another smaller pyramid with a sun symbol on it, but this one doesn't have a skull. I think it's just because these people worshipped what they thought was the god of the sun, so that's what the sun symbols are all about. But as we move along, you can see this crane type thing, and it's lowering down the white stones, and the way they built these structures is by building mounds of dirt and then lining the outside with stones. That's what's happening on the right by this crane. terrain. Now the final thing I want to point out is on the very left. You can see kind of like a trap door or a hatch that's going down, and you'll see a flight of steps going down into this structure. So who knows where it leads, but there's a secret hatch over there which leads inside this building and possibly under the village. So like I said, there's not tons of Easter eggs, which I'm kind of disappointed about. There's also some empty space like in the top right where there's just kind of some vines up there, which I'm not very happy with, but it is extremely well done. Don't get me wrong. The scenery looks amazing. I just really hope that it had some more elements and some more Easter eggs. But if you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button so you don't miss future videos about new sceneries, and also check out that full playlist where you can see every Easter egg in every single scenery that's come out so far. And if you enjoyed, click the like button. But thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.